And we're live.
There you go.
Yep.
Can I ask questions about it, or should I wait?
Don't you want to wait until the actual pod?
For the audio medium?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this won't be on, even this video part won't be on Spotify, so. Well, we don't have CJ tonight, so maybe it will be.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on.
All right, let me get all my statistics together.
Yeah, that's good. I don't have a lot of statistics tonight. So.
Oh, I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, you love stats.
Time to do it.
Stat guy.
I'm going to go one statistic at a time. People that don't listen to the podcast probably assume that that's kind of what it is. The Sixers shot 5 of 10 from the 3-point line in the third quarter.
Yeah, there's not a lot of... It's amazing that we started out as this, like... Remember, we were all like analytics guys or whatever.
Well, I think like society caught up and we kind of stayed the same.
Yeah. That's a good point.
We're just like, yeah, they got it. Somebody's got it. I don't know if I can do the job.
I would say this is a little warmer than I expected.
Yeah, I would have.
Had
I been consulted, had I been coaching you tonight, I would have been like, maybe you don't want to wear that.
Yeah, well, if you're ever going to wear it, you know, I feel like it's so festive.
Sure.
Even, hang on. Just, there we go. Yeah. So, another 10 seconds or so. Boy, this is warm.
That's good.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented. I just looked at the screen. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS, and brought to you by Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. Body Bio. Get 20% off Gut Plus at bodybio.com with code RTRS20. LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. And Kinetic Skateboarding, get 9.1% off your first order with promo code Dave Silver. Just realized it's a Christmas special with 2 Jewish hosts, Jewish lawyer,
that's right,
sponsor, Jewish jewelers.
That's right.
On the show today, the Sixers defeat Kawhi Leonard in Game 7, right before the Christmas episode of The Ricky.
Wow. I thought you were doing a Game 7 like the Raptors Game 7. But
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
7. Yeah.
It's sort of like it like
works.
both. It's
it
like
works
both.
As both. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's nice.
As well, the Sixers win their 7th straight. As well, we will try to get to the Ringer top 100.
No, not a chance.
Joel Embiid talks about getting traded again. Zach Lowe trolls Mike on his podcast. Maybe some gifts for Sixers. And the Spotify question of the podcast is it Moneyline Mike or Vegas Mike? I did mention Kinetic Skateboarding. It is the day before Christmas. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. If you're looking for those last-minute gifts, Kinetic Skateboarding is open until 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve, the actual physical brick-and-mortar store. The website, open all the time. You get yourself get somebody a Kinetic gift card, and you can do that right online. You don't even have to go to the store. KineticSkateboarding.com. Use code Dave Silver for 9.1% off your first order. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who makes demands that the Sixers actually listen to. That is one, Mike Levin. Merry Christmas, Mike.
Merry Christmas, Spike. That is 7. That is a 7 for 7 clean sweep of a homestand. What a win. Honestly, that was stunning. One of the best wins of one of the best, let's say, one of the best regular season wins of the last 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. It was
stunning.
Very
clear. This is a good Clippers team. They haven't played a ton together because of injuries and scheduling stuff and whatever, but Clippers at basically full strength except for John Wall. Sixers basically at full strength except for Maxey. And they go down 20 and they just come back to win. Like, it's just not something that you see often. I think that we'll talk about the individual stuff, but I was genuinely surprised by several good adjustments by Doc Rivers.
Wow, you got to give credit to the coach. This is a coach pod, and we give credit to the coach here. Look, he saw that Trez was getting abused.
Yeah. I wrote down as I'm marking this game, just like fuming to myself. Like, they're going down 12, 14 to 20. And I'm just like writing little notes to myself. Just all the bad things Trez does in the first half. Let a ball go through his hands. Lets Norm Powell score right through him. Watches Zubac's got offensive rebounds right over him. Fouls Kennard on a jumper that he made and didn't contest. Allowed a hook shot from missed runner. Like, all this stuff, just like uselessness. Absolutely. And I'm like, this is going to be the longest list ever in the second half. And Doc,
yep,
to his credit,
went to B-ball
Paul, who immediately rewarded him with a stretch of 5, almost not perfect, a couple little miscues there for Paul, but some excellent, exactly what you're looking for reserve minutes from B-ball Paul there that helped swing the game. And that run they went on, end of the third into the fourth, yep. That's the best run of the season. Like, that feels like very clearly the most, and a lot of it happened without Embiid on the court, the most like overwhelming, picking them apart, getting out in transition, hounding a ball handler, playing with pace. Like, it was really, really good. That was a good stretch of time there.
I think overall, before we get into any of the individual things, I think the most stunning thing to me in this game was it's not like the Clippers just came out hot, right? They were hot for sure, but they were getting all of the shots that they wanted. The Sixers looked like they just could not keep up. The Sixers looked half engaged to me. So it was a combination of, here's this team that is now at full strength, that is not only shooting well, but the Sixers are just not engaged. And it felt like one of those games where maybe they'd get it down to 9, or maybe they'd get it down to 6 at one point, but like they just wouldn't be able to get enough stops to make it happen. And the fact that they were able to, along with an offense that actually like eventually seemed to have the best flow that they had almost all season, with everybody hitting big baskets. Melton hit a huge basket. Harris hit a huge basket. Embiid was great offensively. Harden, I thought was really, really good. Actually, I thought he was better in the second half than he was in the first, but like not too much ball stopping. Just overall, for them to swing that game the way that they swung it in the second half, I just think was a stunner to me, and they deserve a ton of credit for it.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. I disagree that they looked not engaged in the first half. I don't think that they were playing like with urgency. But in a regular season game, like, I don't know how feasible it is that they can do that. Can you put your gloves back on? Actually, sorry, I just wanted, in order to be full Santa, I just feel like you need to do. I just feel like you need to do all of it.
Okay.
I just feel like he doesn't play. Santa doesn't have tattoos that show on his hands.
Okay. Santa's also not like.
Well, hey.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I just think that it was like, they always start the game in a place of let's have Embiid drop and let's force them to dribble into like reasonably tough mid-range shots as the defender as like a DeAnthony Melton or whoever it is trying to get around the screen and contest. And the Clippers just have a bunch of guys that can hit shots. And it seems like they hit a couple of those. Kawhi couldn't miss early on. Paul George hit a bunch of those. And then it was like, okay, then we're going to have the help side defenders come over and help. And then they just kept picking them apart. It was just Clippers making like the right pass, and hitting a bunch of shots in the process. And it was frustrating. It was a frustrating time because I didn't think the Sixers were playing all that poorly. But, Doc goes to zone. I think that it's a little bit counterintuitive to be like, oh, this team's hitting a ton of shots, let's go to zone. But it was really just that they were picking it apart so easily in spread the floor, pick and roll, like get Zubats on a short roll if they double Kawhi, whatever. And I thought the Sixers, as the game went on, as the sense of urgency picked up, as the Clippers started to come back down to earth a little bit, they were shooting like 64% from the field, I think at half or close or around then, close to half. And it was just, it started to come back down to earth, forced a couple more turnovers, got a little bit, I thought Harden's contesting was pretty damn good tonight. Wasn't making it easy on them. Obviously, Melton and Tobias will get out there and beat it a couple. It was just like, this was a nice, hey, the other team is hot and we're not hitting all of our threes, especially early on. And a team that like stayed together, made the right passes, didn't get rattled, didn't turn the ball over, got a couple timely offensive rebounds. It was just like a really impressive, borderline, like very un-Sixersy win. For a team that, it's been a good homestand. 6 wins is nothing to sneeze at, but there wasn't like a signature win yet, especially since that Lakers win was so gruesome at the end. The Warriors didn't have Steph. Like a couple of the Sacramento win was fine, but like not really like a signature one that you feel like, hey, this is how good we're capable of playing against good competition, and they got it tonight. And it kicked ass. Like that was a great way to end that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think you even overstated how underwhelming the opponents. There was only one team over 500. The Kings were the only team over 500 that they played in that stretch, and I actually thought they played better as it went on. Actually, sure. But this I hope when you look back on the season, this win ends up being a nice like marker, I think, in the season where this is the first time this year that it felt like that this was an actual, to me, felt like this is an actual good team right here. Like this was a good win against a good team, and you had a battle back, and I thought they looked good. It was a really big game. And look, like I said, it was all of them. I think that Melton step back 3 was probably the biggest bucket in the whole game. But massive. Tobias, after we showered him with praise for 2 weeks, did not look great this game, but hit an enormous bucket in the fourth as well, and a quick trigger 3. You have to give him credit for not reverting back to old Tobias when things aren't going so well for him.
Yeah.
So
and I would add that Tobias, I think, was the one most frequently defending Kawhi, and Kawhi had a good game, but it wasn't because Tobias wasn't contesting it. It was because Kawhi can hit mid-range shots with everybody draped all over him, and it's really frustrating that with absolutely no arc whatsoever, Kawhi can hit the front rim and it just sort of like curls in. I think someone should look into that. Tobias also, I think the first half, Tobias wasn't that as good as he's been, or as like tight as he's been, because it was like, okay, let's exploit mismatches. We got Luke Kennard out there. And Luke Kennard's good, man. Like he's not a 0 on defense at all. He's pretty strong. He's feisty. And I think Tobias kept trying to like get in there and bully him, and it just wasn't really happening. And I think that maybe threw him off a little bit. But there were a couple, it definitely was everybody in like ways that you don't always expect. Like I mentioned earlier, but like there were 2 big offensive rebound tip-ins from Tobias and Niang, 2 guys not necessarily known for offensive rebounding in any way. But both of those things happening in the fourth quarter was huge. There was a nice play from Niang, did it again later also, but we're seeing the Clippers are a team like the Raptors. They can go small. Zubats is a good player, but they have the option to go small with Nick Batum, who's also still somehow very good. And that 3, I know I saw you tweeted about it, but that 3 was insane, where the ball got swung out to Batum, and he
barely
caught
touched
it like above his head and immediately went up with it. His hands didn't move. It was a remarkable play.
I don't even think it hit his palm.
Should not be allowed. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was infuriating.
It was one of the greatest shots I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
threw a pretty big tantrum, just like stomping around the hallway as after that went. I was like, it shouldn't count. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. But that was indicative of how they were forcing tighter windows on shots in the second half. I didn't think they looked lackadaisical in the first half, but you could tell when their intensity gets ratcheted up, like how much better they are. And then back to what I was saying, they kept struggling to get the ball to Embiid because they're fronting him and the help side defender's coming over and like they're trying to figure it out. For a while, PJ Tucker was on the court and was just like in the way and wasn't doing anything useful in any way. But there were two moments when Tobias and Niang both flashed to the high post when Embiid was trying to seal his man. And in doing so, got the ball, had a clean look at a nice high-low pass to Embiid for a finish underneath. It was a really nice play. It was a smart play. It was a heady play. It's indicative of a team that's like playing well together and knows what they need to do offensively. It was far from a perfect game. Too many times they're just like look slow as hell trying to get Embiid the ball. They in crunch time they thought that they could prevent Embiid from doing that stuff. Zubac's a good player. Ty Lue is like, I don't buy the Sixers' ability to get him the ball in places that he needs to because of how much our length, like the Raptors, will make that hard on him. And I thought they did a pretty good job and proving that they could still win that game. And he made a couple nice passes, one weirdly over his head. Didn't love that. Didn't think that was super necessary. But it was a good game in a way that like they were tested. Like they took a very good Clippers punch and absorbed it and still battled to get the win. It was really one of the nicest wins I've seen. I mean, maybe the best win since the Bucks on Christmas 2019.
Well, you're not going to agree with this, but I thought it was a different kind of win. But the win over the Nets when everybody was hurt, I thought was awesome.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
That was an awesome
just different
win.
kind of win.
Yeah, different kind of win. But in terms of like real win, I think yes. I think this is. You would probably need to go back to that Bucks game to come up with one. Sponsor of the pod, Ricky, brought to you by Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process, the official personal injury law firm of the process. Look, if perhaps you're in a situation where you put on a Santa costume as a bit and you want to take it off because you're too hot and then you get hurt because your partner says that you should keep it on and maybe you pass out and you need someone to sue that partner, you go to Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process.
I don't remember seeing the bottom of Santa's nose as much.
Bro, what am I supposed to, like that? Is that the right way?
It was closer.
Jesus, man. Kornblau and
I'm trying to be authentic here. I feel like Kornblau wouldn't accept anything less.
The problem is, just trying to get my mouth out. There we go. Kornblau and Kornblau been there for like 40 years now. Adam Kornblau is our guy over at Kornblau and Kornblau. The other Kornblau right now is Mom. His parents started the law firm and built just a personal injury law firm that is different in that when you call these other ones that you see advertised, all they're doing is referring you to other places. The people you see on the billboards, the people you hear in the commercials, that's not who you deal with. But Kornblau and Kornblau is different. It's personal service. They are obsessed with getting the result that you deserve. Adam truly loves his work, and every Ricky listener who has gone to Kornblau and Kornblau has said the same thing. He is conscientious. He is respectful. He is a good man. He knows his shit. If you've been hurt in any way and you think you might have a case, whether it is injured at work, car accident, slip and fall, medical malpractice is their expertise, you call or email Kornblau. It doesn't cost you anything. 215-576-7200. And he's such a good dude that so many of our listeners have reached out with other legal issues. And maybe in that case, he can refer you, give you some off-the-record advice. He's done it for so many listeners. Just an awesome guy, an awesome law firm. Again, 215-576-7200, or send an email, kornblau@kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process. I'm starting to pant now. I don't know if you noticed it.
All right, good. I'll take over. Give yourself a break. Let's make sure we need some rest.
Oh, I'm going to get
some built-in rest.
Going to have some seltzer.
All right, good. Harden had 20, 21, and 11. Like that is pretty good. His all-time high in assists in a game. I believe I saw it right before podcast. I think it was either tied or is the Sixers all-time assist in a game leader. That was impressive. You felt it. You felt how much they needed Harden to start offense, except for the couple little stretch in the fourth quarter where Shake was getting some things for himself. It really felt like.
By the way, a great Shake stretch.
Yeah,
that stretch, a great Shake stretch.
Beautiful, and he was kind of non-existent except for a couple finishes at the rim earlier. But those couple finishes around, I think Kennard it was tough mid ranges, like with Joe off the court in the fourth. That was really really nice. And he's playing with, not to be Doc, but like he's playing with pace in a way that he's always trying to get downhill, trying to get in there before the defense set. I love how Shake is playing these days. But Harden, just like fully quarterbacking the team in this game, 100%. Every window, it's like come get a screen, handle, and dice them up, and see what they're giving you, and pick it apart that way. And the Sixers as a team didn't turn the ball over that much. 9 turnovers against the Clippers team that forces a lot and makes it hard on you. Like it was just like a lot of it was unremarkable, I will say. Like it was just like making the right pass, a couple of really nice bounce passes, one lob to B-ball, which was great. The 75-foot chest pass to Tobias at the end of the first half, get a little momentum back, was huge. It was, and like a couple really nice like roll pocket pass to Embiid, just like smart stuff. He's really important to this team, and got to the rim a couple times, but still, like, it's hard to talk about him because it's like, well, he's never going to be the guy that he was. But like tonight, he did exactly what they needed him to do, which was get some shots for himself and just like totally allow the offense to flow. I hate when it slows down a little bit, but also when he plays them like 42 minutes a game, like he's gonna need a break here and there, so he's gonna slow it down. I hate that, but as far as Harden goes, like he just, unlike any distributor we've seen in our lifetime for a Sixer, it's really huge for an offense that needs it.
2 things about Harden. First of all, you said like a lot of it was unspectacular, but that's sort of like what he has to do. Given his, I think, like physical limitations at this point, I think it's when he's trying to do more that he looks exposed. He's like the most, for lack of a better word, he's the most annoying to watch when he is not doing that. Mm-hmm. But he is so skilled, I think, in terms of a passer or a shooter, and sees the game so well that when he's in this specific pocket, I think he's at his best. Now, like look, when we get to playoffs and you need more, he doesn't have it. That's a different story or whatever. But at this point, that is what he did tonight is what he's best at doing. And I will, though I don't want to see Embiid playing the minutes that he plays. When you look historically at Harden, like he plays 37 minutes a game every season. Yeah, it's every season. So there might be, he obviously likes playing that much. Whatever age he is, he plays, like you look at the history, he always plays that many minutes. And by the way, Embiid, like it was the same thing when Brett was here. Like if Embiid wanted to play less minutes, he'd play less minutes. I guess you could say that you put that on the coach or you put it on the backup center, but Harden, I don't think you can get on Doc for playing too many minutes. I just think that's what he does.
Yeah, I mean, especially without Maxey there. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I need him right now for sure. Yeah, I mean, against the Clippers team without that many exploitable pieces, they don't have many guys that Harden can just go like bring him over. I got him. And even if they did, there's their length around them with Batum and Kawhi and Paul George and Terrence Mann and everything is so stifling and prevents so many things from happening. For him to have this good of a game without turning the ball over that much while keeping the offense moving, like really, really nice. Probably the best or one of the best Sixers games he's had in a game where you need it. And like, you know, it's a homestand. They've won 6 in a row. They could easily have folded here and nobody did. And they played that you could feel them like playing together and enjoying themselves as a team. And that matters. I thought it was good. Look, I like when Harden gets to cook with Embiid out. Like I like when like having that a little bit. But man, those bench units with just Harden and like no other, if it's like Harden and like Niang and Trez and Dan House and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of Harden. That's just like a lot of Harden. Either it's very slow or like a whole bunch of step backs. And so I would love to keep, at least get me a Tobias in there or something like that to have something going. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to see like fat lines like this. Like 2021 and 11 is insane. That's an insane line.
Oh, I thought you meant Harden and Yang on the court.
Also fun to see that.
Yeah.
Also fun to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, really a great win. Plus 11. I mean, it's just he was great. And Embiid has scored 44 and we haven't really talked about it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was funny. It was sort of a weird game for Embiid. Like, at least he had 3 rebounds at the half, which was a little. What did he wind up with? 10? Did he wind up with 10? 7. Yeah. It hasn't been a great rebounding season for Embiid. It's been an incredible offensive season. He's never been an awesome rebounder, but this has been his worst rebounding season. Mm-hmm. But offensively, he just looked like he was doing whatever he wanted. And Zubac, to your point, Zubac was like, he was good, I thought. He blocked him once, and I thought he's the kind of guy that can give Embiid trouble in that he's big and he knows positioning really well, and I thought he played Embiid well. But Embiid just like, he's so locked in on those fucking 10 to 15 footers. He's just like impossible to guard in that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was very clear. Like he barely got to the line in the first half. He only finished with 7 free throws, which is super low for him. It was a lot of just taking what the defense gives you, which is good to a point. Like, I think sometimes he's gotten in trouble in the past and forcing it. In a regular season game, I'm fine with him taking these kinds of jumpers, and he was hitting them. I think he was like 8 of 10 at one point on jumper. Like he played an incredible game. His touch is really soft, especially when you give him time to like work it and get a feel for it, and give him some space where he's not getting crowded if he's in the the more of the center of the court. But they're just a bigger issue is that because Harden is not the guy he was anymore, like they're just not going to get to the line unless Embiid gets them there. They just don't have other guys that can do that and get easy points that way. And so that's very evident in what it looks like. And so to win this game where they only got to the line 14 times, that's an impressive display when the Clippers were shooting really well from the field. It's just like all in all, I think a lot of times some teams make shots, some teams miss shots, and that's like the results of a lot of games. But this was a game where the Clippers were hitting shots.
Make or miss league. Sure.
And the Sixers took a punch and like adjusted to it, and it was really nice. Doc in the first half went to an all bench rotation. We talked about it after the Pistons game. It was like, oh, interesting. It's like an all bench rotation. I hope this only happens in like games when they're playing bad teams. And then immediately Doc goes back to it in the Clippers game, and they just look like absolute dog shit. A lot of that being Trez or just, having limited options. Matisse played 1 minute in this game. Korkmaz played 11 seconds. But it was good that he went away from it. It was good that he got Embiid back in there quickly. I mean, the Sixers are not a team like the Clippers loaded with two-way weapons. You saw that, George Niang is exploitable for a Clippers team that can move fast. I thought Shake got exploited a couple times, just like not having elite lateral quickness. Norm Powell got by him a couple times. But I mean, every sentence I'm saying ends with me being like, they won this fucking game. Like, what a good win. It's like, what a really nice win. We can take interesting things away from it, but like how vital DeAnthony Melton is to this team, how nice it is that Tobias feels like comfortable in his role, and Embiid and Harden looking good enough to like carry them over the finish line. It was a really nice win.
I forgot what I was going to say. Harden averaging a career low 6.2 free throw attempts per game.
And you feel it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and like he's asking for them. It seems like more than ever, too. Mm-hmm. A great win and a great win for everyone. Is there now? What a night where, when you think about a few years ago, when like I felt like I was arguing all the time about whether Matisse Thybulle was the next Robert Covington or not. And tonight, Matisse Thybulle plays 11 seconds and Robert Covington doesn't play.
I know.
It's
weird
world.
That he's out of the rotation. I think they could use him, but I mean, I think he's a better player than Marcus Morris, and I think that they should have him out there. But I haven't been watching a ton of Covington this year, so whatever. Yeah. Just more about DeAnthony Melton, like. He's just the man. Anytime he's on the court, I have like I have a positive feeling. He finished with a plus 17 best in the night. You just believe that they're going to be at least fine offensively and defensively with him out there. And he's been massive to this team. And we talked about it last time of like, who do you bench?
True glue guy, by the way. True glue guy 100%. In terms of like how he plays. You know, he does everything that you need. Everything.
Yeah. I think the answer is very clearly to when Maxey gets back and like is ready for major minutes again. I think the answer is putting PJ Tucker on the bench.
I don't think they're going to do that because of Harden, but I've been, for what it's worth, I believe that DeAnthony Melton should start since the season started, and he would be. I guess part of me thinks that when you
at the very least closing with him, which they did tonight.
When you sit Tucker for him, I feel like you're taking away a little bit of what Melton is additive with, in that you're taking out a defensive player who, you know, makes hustle plays and putting in a smaller one. Like I understand that DeAnthony Melton is better than PJ Tucker, but I know that here's the hard part. I know that they're not going to put Maxey on the bench either. It does feel like they would gain the most by doing it with Maxey in terms of a lineup as opposed to Tucker. I think a little bit. In terms
I don't know. I mean, it's been so long since we've seen Maxey.
Seen Maxey, yeah. Who was close, by the way.
Yeah, it seems like within the next couple of games, through 2 or 3 maybe. He's just he adds such an element to this team that they have been missing badly. Whether that's, you know, that's been mitigated some by how good Melton's been from 3 and how good Shake has been at getting his own shot. But the speed that Maxey brings to the table and finishing around the rim opens up so many things. And I even ends of games, like, you know, the Sixers have been fortunate enough to be up towards the end of games and having like breaking press. And they haven't, aside from the Lakers game, totally shit the bed in a while, but Maxey can just break it himself. Like, he's just gone.
Yeah.
And I think he's
a great player for sure. Yeah.
And PJ, like, the thing with PJ is that, like, I am absolutely not undervaluing his defense. I think when you're a big wing that is used to like pushing guys around, and then you have PJ Tucker just like banging into you for 20, 25 minutes in a game, that affects you. It might not affect you like to miss like shots when he's contesting it, but over the course of the game, you're going to be a little bit more tired than you would have been if it was just like somebody with length getting it up there. Like he makes it hard on guys. They have a hard night when he's covering them. But offensively, man, he is a 0. He's a 0 right now. He is a total 0. He is right now. Yes, he sets some screens sometimes, and that's nice. And he gets a couple offensive rebounds, which he did against Detroit. That's nice. But he is not a better offensive player than Matisse right now. And
I trust him more than Matisse offensively.
Yeah, because at least he gets the ball out of his hands quickly. But like, at least Matisse is a lob threat. Like, not as much as I would want him to be, but
on a break or something. I mean, not.
There's just times when PJ is like in the dunker spot, and it's just like you may as well walk out into the stands and sit like and have a lovely drink and enjoy the game with the company of a couple friends at the Wells Fargo Center. Like, he has no business being on offense at any point because he's just giving them nothing whatsoever.
They've won 7 in a row with him starting and Melton starting. That's all. I guess that's my point at the end of the day.
Of course, but we're looking forward, and like it's easy to see them like switch off of PJ or help off of PJ, and the Sixers not be able to capitalize on it because PJ he's not a threat around the rim. He takes so long to get a shot off these days for whatever reason. He's reluctant to shoot it. Hopefully that just turns around. Maybe with Maxey in there opening up the defense a little bit, there will just be naturally more space for PJ to like get a shot off. But there's been some frustrating moments watching this offense when PJ like record scratch uselessness. It's been tough to see. And they won on that run in the third, putting Niang in, who played a nice game. Again, pretty exploitable defense against a team that has this many guys that can penetrate. but they run
had
on a
some
run
big
when
shots
Niang
when-
came in there.
Yeah,
Had a bunch of big shots.
He had big shots, and he hasn't played well. He hasn't hit shots recently, but he keeps firing.
But another guy that I just like trust, like
Yeah.
deeply trust to shoot. Like every time he gets it, like
Shoot it.
he needs no space to get it off. He did great. And the other thing, PJ, there was one time when Tobias got pissed at him because like they've been really working that nicely when they have to double Embiid or double Harden, and the ball gets swung to the wing, and then it's one guy having to cover either the guy in the corner or the guy on the foul line extended. And Tobias caught the ball foul line extended and went to swing it to PJ, and PJ just like cut away from it. And Tobias passed it to nobody because PJ wasn't there. And it was just like, what are you doing? Like this is what we do. This is like your whole role. And it was a very bizarre thing. And some of that's miscommunication. And it just like happens sometimes. But like too often he's running away from shots and running away from usefulness on the offensive end.
We have some other good stuff to get to. Before we do, Body Bio. Love Body Bio. Jewish too, I think. On the Christmas special.
Wow.
Body Bio, they are. Body Bio, family owned, family operated supplement company. Their newest supplement, Gut Plus, will make your life better. It'll make your life better. That's what it will do. Mike has found some relief from taking Gut Plus.
Yes, sir.
Gut Plus is going, those symptoms that maybe you started taking a probiotic to get rid of, the bloat, maybe you're not regular enough. Probiotics are fine. Your body actually creates probiotics, not enough of them. But the problem is with probiotic supplements is that you need a very specific one for your body. And most people that are taking probiotics are not taking the right one. It's difficult to find the right one. That's why Gut Plus comes in. What Gut Plus does is it allows your body to create more probiotics on its own, because then it'll definitely be the right one. It is a prebiotic, postbiotic. The prebiotic kills off the wrong bacteria, allows your body to create the correct bacteria, the probiotic. And then the postbiotic comes in with Gut Plus and helps get rid of all those bad symptoms. The bloat, helps you be more regular, just makes you feel better. Like it is your brain, it's your gut, it's hydration, it's sleep. Those are like the four things. And Gut Plus is the one to get. If you're going to take one gut supplement, it's Gut Plus. Go to bodybio.com and use code RTRS20. That'll give you 20% off. Just try it. Take one pill a day, maybe two. Just try it. Try for a week. See if you feel any different. I'm telling you will. Go to bodybio.com, use code RTRS20. You can try the other supplements we talked about. E-Lite, which has made a difference for both of us, keeping you hydrated. Liposomal vitamin C, everything. And the greatest thing about the Body Bio site, it explains everything. Once again, bodybio.com, code RTRS20.
Couple more things about the game, and then we can move on.
Yep. Have some
Sixers
great
finished-
Zach Lowe audio.
The Sixers finished 58-28 on points in the paint. And I feel like a lot of those were like mid-range points in the paint, but that is stark. That
Wait,
is
an advantage?
58-28 advantage points in the paint. That's kind of the Clippers' deal. It's just driving and kicking in a ton of those, but
It just doesn't feel like it.
it didn't feel like the Sixers were finishing at the rim a ton. But there were a couple. I mean, Shake had a couple of really nice ones. Melton had a couple of nice finishes inside, which he's struggled to do a couple times lately. Those tips, Embiid doing his thing, like it didn't feel that way, but you started to count it back, and you remember like that's a helpful stuff, and it's not something the Sixers always do. The one DeAnthony Melton play I want to highlight, he at one point on defense was fronting Paul George. Paul George is like, I have a mismatch. Get me the ball in the post. I have a smaller guy on me. So Melton is fronting him. Marcus Morris makes a terrible pass across court. And it was really like Melton was baiting him into it. He was like, please make this pass, which I love. I love doing that. He's like, when I'm here, bring the bell. I don't give a shit. Sixers won 7 in a row. Playing, that's the bell. Like
For this one.
playing like family football free safety or whatever. Yep. Just daring my nephew's friend to like make that pass because I'm gonna fucking pick it off, man. Like, and Melton was daring them to do it, and he did, and he started the break. It was a really, really nice play. It was an athletic play, and it was a strong play. That's the thing you get from Melton that I love, is that Matisse doesn't have the strength, and PJ doesn't have the athleticism anymore, and Melton gives you both on a guy that can really cover anybody on the court. And I just love him. I love him so much. And that play kickstarted a fast break, which he found Shake on a transition opportunity, which gave the Sixers the first lead of the game. They never looked back. It was awesome. Other things, man, those challenges sucked.
I knew it. I was waiting
Sucked.
for that.
We don't have to do too much of it because the Sixers played really well and it didn't matter. But like, that's Terrible. Just terrible. Refs are bad. They're all bad. They're terrible. What an atrocious showing. Fine. And then the phantom call on Embiid sending Kawhi to the line. Like, give me a break. Just give me a fucking break, dude. Just fucking, the refs are just blowing the whistle. They're just blowing the whistle and hoping that something happened. Like, what a joke. And it's worth saying how good B-Ball Paul was in that stretch. A lob finish from Harden.
The lob finish was great.
Harden waited to make that pass, and I don't think it was because Harden was waiting for it to open up. I think it was because he was like, do I want to make this pass to B-Ball Paul at this point in the game? Like, I think it was a trust level choice, and he's like, fuck it, I'll do it. And Paul rewarded him very nice. And blocking a Norm Powell drive, Norm Powell in the previous, like, 1 or 2 plays earlier, had gotten all the way to the rim and finished. And then the next play, which when B-Ball Paul, like, he's there to protect the rim, but he's also like covering Nick Batum out to the 3-point line. So it's not like he can always do that. And that's what you get from him, is that he can defend Nick Batum or whoever on the 3-point line. But the next play, he sees the thing happening. He meets Norm Powell at the rim, blocks it, triggers a fast break, Harden and Niang 3. Huge plays from B-Ball Paul. Playing for the first time in a couple weeks in a big game against a really good team, like that shit rules. Like, keep playing him, for the love of God.
Doc called a man. B-Ball had to put down a hoodie he was packing into a FedEx envelope.
Put the packing tape away.
Yeah.
Paul, please. The packing tape.
Yeah.
Just a really, really, really good game. That is nothing. 7 in a row, winning all 7 at home. That is something that they feel that they can like hang their hat on and go like, we can compete. We can bounce back from a big deficit, which we haven't seen them do that much. Like, it's just a really, really fucking good ass win. And 2 more to go, and I will feel like the king of the goddamn world.
Zach Lowe on the Low Post, friend of the Ricky, Zach Lowe, had Kevin Pelton on to talk about the Sixers. And there's 2 things I wanted to play you, Mike, and then 1 thing Zach wrote in his 10 things column.
Yeah.
Here is the first thing. This was and we give credit to Zach for this. This was near the top of the Low Post pod as he's introducing Kevin Pelton.
I like to have you on to talk about Sixers because normally I have Spike Eskin and Mike Levin from the Rights to Ricky Sanchez, and they're so emotionally invested that they can, in the best possible way, go completely bonkers talking about the Sixers. And I need your cool, calming perspective on this team.
Kevin, we need somebody who knows what they're talking about. Normally, I like to have Spike and Mike on, but I needed a normal, real podcast. But then, about 2 minutes later, Mike, it felt like Zach was talking directly to you, and I need your reaction here.
Yeah.
The B-Ball Paul, Montrezl Harrell angst. There's some angst that's just not worth it. It's just not worth. If you're angry about Paul Reed versus Montrezl Harrell versus PJ Tucker at the 5, it's worth getting a little angry about. It's not. If you're typing a mailbag question to somebody, subject line, Doc Rivers is an idiot, Paul Reed rocks, like, you need to reevaluate some parts of your life.
Wow.
Great that simply going to B-Ball Paul over Trez in the second half is one of the main factors in why the Sixers won this game.
Uh-huh.
So well timed for that.
Yep.
And I just need, how can we not lose our minds over it when every single year that Joel Embiid has been healthy, the Sixers' backup center situation has been horrendous. Every single year.
I'm giving you the floor here.
Thank you. And through various regimes and front offices and coaching staffs, they have still not figured it out. The Sixers have not had an athletic, rolling, rim protecting, never a stretch 5 that wasn't Al Horford being paid $1 billion a year. It's every year this is the issue. And Daryl says it, and now other people say it, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's 8 minutes a game. It's 9 minutes a game in the playoffs. Whatever. You're making too big of a deal out of it. They're wrong. They're simply wrong. How many plotting, no jumper, no defense on the perimeter players do we have to try to back up Joel Embiid? And we saw it last year with B-Ball Paul, where they played in the playoffs and he was flawed and imperfect. But for a second year guy to come in after not playing for months because Doc thought that DeAndre Jordan was going to be the guy, it is stunning that we keep talking about this. And I'm not the weird one for talking about it. You're the weird one. You are all the weird ones for not acknowledging that this has always been a problem, and we keep heading down the road until Doc made the change tonight. And again, in a couple of games, I'm sure he's going to make the change back. I'm going to lose my goddamn mind some more. Heading down the road for the same mistakes again and again that they have made throughout Embiid's prime. It's like, it's beyond Lucy and the football. It's like if you're rooting for Charlie Brown, and you're like, I want to keep talking about this football thing because I feel like she keeps pulling it away. And people are like, no. Stop talking about the football. There's so many other things to football other than like, you're worried about the holder?
Come on.
You're worried about the holder for field goals? That's what you're worried about? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a problem that she keeps pulling it away. She keeps pulling the ball away. And it happens every year. Every Thanksgiving, she pulls the ball away. And we're not doing anything about it. It seems like we should get somebody else to hold. And Doc Rivers is like, no. She's our holder. I trust her. Lucy, we got her. And it's just like, beyond, how are we still in the same place? If it's not B-Ball Paul, and I think it could be, I think it should be, but if it's not him, then Daryl needs to, over the next 2-3 months, make a trade to acquire someone who is not Montrezl Harrell, who is not DeAndre Jordan, who is not Dwight Howard, who is not Amir Johnson, who is not Greg Monroe. Like, all of the guys we've seen not be able to do it, other teams have guys that can do it. So let's get one of those guys and stop calling me weird for the thing that is important to the Sixers having playoff success when Joel Embiid has to sit for, like, God forbid, 8 minutes in any given playoff game.
Well done. The other Sixers reference by Zach, number 10 in his 10 things, says the best post-game victory in the NBA. Almost every team has a victory celebration song. The Lakers use Randy Newman's I Love LA. The Clippers go with California Love by Tupac and Dr. Dre. The contrast is perfect. Classic sheen for the Lakers. 90s rap for the team that fashions itself cooler and brasher. But the league's best victory song is Philadelphia's disco-infused 70s classic Here Come the Sixers, and it's not close. The beat is catchy, and the tone is so cheerful, it doesn't matter that the lyrics are childlike. I mean, the chorus is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers, 10, 9, 8, 76ers. It's the perfect blend of funky and cheesy. You revel in the kitsch and not so secretly like the song on its merits. The first 20 seconds are all instrumental, and the Sixers play that opening over live action if the game is decided. It's a fun build-up, starting the party, and priming fans to sing the opening lyrics. It is an audio version of Red Auerbach's Cigar, and if the Sixers ever change, we riot. Just using it as a... I'm just using this as an opportunity to say I do not like Here Come the Sixers.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I do not object to them playing it.
I don't care if you're Santa.
I hate it.
Santa's wrong. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a phenomenal song, and I think more than whether or not the song is good, it is extremely apt for when it plays. Like the satisfying, the keyboard comes in as like the other team is dribbling out the clock, or the Sixers are, or whatever. It's such a satisfying moment for that to happen. Whereas like Fly Eagles Fly in that moment would not feel right. And Here Come the Sixers after like a touchdown, or, you know, Here Come the Eagles, I guess, in that version, would not feel right. It is like the Eagles chant, which is also very childish and just spelling, like not better than counting. Spelling and counting, similar level of thought. It just feels they each are the right thing for their thing. And this is jazzy, and it's fun to do it as you're walking out. It's good. It's good. It's right. And you're wrong. And I'm glad that Zach is a little bit pandering to me after his
After-
ghastly backup center take, which I'm still upset about.
I never know what gaslighting is, but was that gaslighting you with the backup center thing? Is that gaslighting?
Well, look, it's not the reason for everything wrong with this team.
Yeah.
There's other stuff, for sure. But everybody is doing something to me, personally, Doc included. Until tonight, until he does it again in a couple games. But, yeah, he played good. Our boy played good. Our boy Paul, who is welcome on the podcast anytime for the first time.
But we did get an official. It looks like that'll happen again in January. So
Great.
set your
Great.
Mark your calendars. Before we get to the Ringer Top 100 and the mailbag, nothing says Christmas like LL Pavorsky Jewelers. Nothing at all. Not just a sponsor, part of the family. Like a true part of the family, a member of the podcast, LL Pavorsky, the first sponsor of the Ricky. Over 300 Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners have purchased engagement rings from LL Pavorsky. One host has purchased an engagement ring from LL Pavorsky. Don't blame me. I would have. It was before Pavorsky that I got married. I'm sorry. LL, and you know what? I assume he's got to be open tomorrow on Christmas Eve, right? I mean, he's got to be. I would think he's got to be meeting
a couple
people.
hours at least.
Couple
LL,
hours?
come on, give me a
Yeah,
break.
come
Give me
on.
a couple.
Look,
Some last minute shoppers.
Maybe you want to propose on New Year's Eve. Maybe you haven't gotten a Christmas present yet, but maybe you need an anniversary present. Maybe you need a Valentine's Day present. Maybe you just need an I love you present, an engagement ring. All of them. LL Pavorsky Jewelers. We've received so much great feedback about LL from everyone who has gone to him, and not just engagement rings, by the way, wedding bands, and then as you move forward, you got a jeweler. You don't have to worry about that anymore. If you want to get an engagement ring from LL, make an appointment. 215-627-2252. He wants to be able to know your price range, know what you're looking for, and be able to dedicate the proper amount of time to you. Send an email, lee@llpavorsky.com. Tweeted him at LL Pavorsky. 707 Walnut. Store's been there for over 30 years. A supporter of our charities, Mama T's Community Fridge and Providence Animal Center. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
The real Santa Claus.
So, we've been when we do the DraftKings section, been calling you Vegas Mike for a while. You had mentioned Moneyline Mike for the alliteration. CJ posted in the Spotify question of the pod, which name is better, Vegas Mike or Moneyline Mike? We also asked on Twitter, similar results on both. Spotify gives Vegas Mike 82%. Twitter gives Vegas Mike 75%. Looks like it's staying with Vegas Mike.
There you go.
The hard to stomach YouTube comment of the week. This comes from Marty Bones, 5393. The Coach Mike call to win 9 straight is yet another reminder why he should be coaching the team. And from Rob Smith, 5434, like all good coaches, Mike tells his players to just focus on 9 games at a time.
That's right.
To the mailbag, rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com, rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. This comes from Ryan. Good morning, fellas. Hope you're enjoying a wonderful holiday season, and Spike, that you're feeling better. By the way, I did go to urgent care today because my chest still hurt from coughing. I had a sharp pain in my ribs. I found out it was inflamed cartilage, and the guy literally told me all I could do was get some sleep and get more vitamin C. A little tip: if you go to urgent care and you're skinny and covered in tattoos, they are not giving you painkillers. Like, that's the last thing you're going to get. In any case, non-basketball question he starts off with: fuck, marry, kill, waffle fries, curly fries, crinkle fries.
I'll kill crinkle fries.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think you got to marry waffle fries.
No, I'll probably fuck a waffle fry and I'll marry a curly fry.
Okay. Basketball question. You touched on the Bulls potentially tearing it down in the last pod. I think one player who wasn't mentioned as an option is Alex Caruso. He'd obviously get moved once they fully commit to the rebuild, but he does fit nicely in the Matisse plus Ferk salary spot.
Yeah.
Would obviously have to sweeten the pot, but that would be a foundation of the deal. What do you think of his fit on the team? I think he'd be fine. He just cost too much. He's like become like overrated almost, I think, a little bit.
Well, we talked about him a little bit, but I just feel like him and Melton share a similar role there. And Melton has really turned it, like, it's hard to overrate how much Melton has improved as a shooter since he got to the league.
Yeah.
And his willingness to shoot and his quickness at shooting. So that helps. But I do feel like, you know, would he be better than Matisse as another guard defender that can like guard up a little bit? Of course, but and better on the offensive end. But I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't like spend a lot of bullets on it. I think other teams could probably make a better offer than Matisse and Korkmaz. I probably wouldn't. It's not enough of an upgrade for me to like add in the few picks the Sixers have.
I agree, actually.
But he's nice. He's a good player. Like, for sure, he's a good player, and he'd be helpful.
The voicemail line is 833-LickFace. That is 833-LickFace.
Hey, Spike and Mike. Eric again. I'd like to say that I'm very proud to have been called a troglodyte. That's one of my favorite insults. Shout out Becca also for her backing me up a little bit. I'm calling not to address that. That's fun. That's funny. Good part of the podcast. But I bought tickets to go see my first Sixers game in person, and I'm very excited. Going to see them play the Nets. And non-basketball related, how do you guys feel about the Jalen Hurts injury? Does that make you a little nervous for the rest of the season? All right. Have a good one.
Well, that, of course, if you haven't been listening to the last few pods, Eric called a couple of episodes ago, said that everyone should just enjoy the season, was assaulted in a voicemail, calling him a troglodyte and cursing at him, basically telling him to watch golf, and Eric coming back. Mike, does the Jalen Hurts injury make you nervous?
Nervous, I would say no. I mean, this is sort of like the time of year where something expected like that kind of just happens.
Yep.
To the Eagles, but I think let's establish right now 2 games of Minshew, and Hurts can come in last week of the season and play a half, and then sit the bye week. It's like a nice easy thing. Let's win 1 or 2 of those games, and let's keep our eye on the prize.
Here's my worry. My worry is not like Minshew is a perfectly suitable backup, a good quarterback. I think they will be fine playing with him. Mm-hmm. My worry is that they and also, you know, I don't know the extent of Hurts' injury. I do think he's actually hurt, but like there's so much time between now and when he actually has to play that that doesn't make me nervous. What makes me a little nervous is they're just like 17 actually, oddly enough. It just felt like there was so much momentum.
Yeah.
You know, and it interrupts that momentum. And that is, to be quite honest with you, injury aside, that's what made me a little nervous about them, like, wrapping things up so early almost, that these games wouldn't be that important. He wouldn't play as much. So that's you know, I do believe in momentum. I am a momentum guy. And it does make me a little nervous that he'll, you know, miss a lot of time and come back in and just be a little out of sorts when it counts, you know?
Yeah, I'm a momentum guy too in some sense, but I think you can get that back. I think you can feel it. I'm not a momentum guy to the detriment of like, there's one bye week in the playoffs, and then if the Eagles get it, when the Eagles get it, all they have to do is win 2 games at home and they're back in the Super Bowl. Like, that's more important than like trying to like, you know, puppeteer a situation where like they're in it until the last game of the season and then they can rest their starters and like whatever it is. So like, let's get a win with Minshew in the next couple weeks. Let's let Jalen rest up. And this team just has a really good feel for each other, I feel like. And they're going to know like, okay, we have plenty of time. How are we going to, you know, bounce back from that?
The good thing as well is that one, enormous difference between 17 and this year is that the players absolutely loved Nick Foles and did not like Carson Wentz.
That's right.
And this is, I think they like Minshew actually, but they love Hurts. And there's just, the locker room believed in Foles more than they believed in Wentz, and I don't think that is the case in this one.
Yeah. The other thing we were talking, just because he mentioned the Nets, like the Nets have won 8 straight as well.
They won against they beat the Bucks tonight.
They beat the Bucks tonight. The Bucks now have a worse point differential than the Sixers. The Celtics had to fight to claw back against the Timberwolves. The Celtics had lost 3 straight games to the Pacers and then the Magic twice.
Yeah.
So it was a tough stretch for the Celtics. Some of it was just like shooting variance, coming back down to earth and stuff. But like the Cavs lost tonight. The top 5 seeds in the East right now, the Sixers are 5. They're 3 games back of the top spot. And they got the Knicks on Christmas. And then the Wizards, who below. Gonna get my 9. Gonna need my 9. The Bulls just beat the Knicks tonight by 1. Gonna need my 9. Gonna get my 9.
DeRozan game winner.
I didn't see it. Yeah. That's nice.
To the mailbag, Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. By the way, I have at the end of the pod, I have an important statement about something that happened at the game tonight. An important statement. This comes from Matt. Hi, Spike and Mike. I'm at the Sixers game and I bumped into Daryl. I've seen him a couple times and he clearly wants to be polite, so he gives me a hey man and a fist bump, but 1000% has no idea who I am. Respectable move, though. Anyway, I told him I love hearing him on Rights to Ricky Sanchez and asked the next time he's going on. He shrugged and said, I don't know. I just go on when they ask me. He seemed hurt. It's been a while, but I may just be projecting. Either way, give the man a call. That's all I got. Call your family. Call Daryl. It's the holidays.
It's true. That's true.
833 Lickface is the voicemail.
Hey guys, it's John. Forget like Vegas Mike and Coach Mike. It really should be Scout Mike, because the guy's almost always right about certain plays in the league. I mean, his breakdown of Chris Boucher from the Raptors was like extraordinary, and he would be a perfect fit for the team. So I don't know if they should just hire Mike as a consultant. I don't know what they could do, but we need to get Mike actually involved in the day-to-day operation of the Sixers.
I think I'm best from my perch over here, where I can go like say that I think this guy's going to be good and I believe in him, and then not face any repercussions when I'm wrong. Or be able to blame like a debilitating sesame allergy, or something. As an example, that's just one example.
By the way, I love Chris Boucher too, but it's a classic like Doc Rivers move and get the guy that kills you all the time.
It's true. It's not wrong. I have liked him for a very long time, but that is absolutely a Doc Rivers move. You're right. Yeah. You're right. And I'm becoming a coach as we do this. I'm falling into those problem areas and stuff.
Final one. Hi guys, love the pod.
I will say, like, let's just think. I've been thinking about this because I've been watching more basketball and everything. Like, as we get as my job ended and we get to the fun part of the season, like David Roddy is good and playing major minutes on a West leading Grizzlies team right now. Yeah, they're tied with Denver for the lead in the West. You were not a Roddy guy.
No, but I don't like fat guys.
But he's not fat. He's just thick. Like a big hull of a boat that is a well-made ship.
I don't like. There's a lot of things that shine through in the YouTube big board, and I don't like fat guys. He's played well. You were right. He's played well. But it's just not my kind of guy.
Yeah,
I'd like him if he was on the Sixers. I'd like him.
Awesome.
I mean, he was drafted by the Sixers.
He's awesome. I was also a big Desmond Bain guy who has then gotten too good for me to be like,
to still believe in him. Yeah,
like, well, not to still believe in him, but just to acclaim. Like, now he's like a regular good player. Like Donovan Mitchell, same thing. Like guys that I went to bat for then became like very good. Now I'm like, well, they're not mine anymore.
Yeah,
they're not my precious.
Well, it's that classic thing where the band that you like gets too big, and you move on to the other band.
I still like those guys though.
This guy's saying, in the chat, Zion's a fat guy. Well, if you go back to our YouTube,
Yeah,
big
you're
board-
very anti-Zion. You're still anti-Zion.
Well, because his knee's gonna blow up. Like my point was
best.
not that he couldn't play or whatever. My point was that like he's too big to be doing what he does, and I don't believe it'll last. And
He's the best.
yeah.
He's so fun to watch.
Final email. Hi guys, love the pod. Excuse me. How can Spike play a fucking Elvis song for Vegas Mike, but Amos's old song with some obscure sample can't be used? Which is a funny question. The Amos's song, that sample was not obscure. It was Curtis Mayfield. And I tried to get it cleared, but his camp hunts those things down. And by the way, we're working on an alternate of the Vegas Mike song, so I don't have to worry about it quite as much. So, but it is a good point. Before we go, the last thing I did want to say, did you see the Sixers dancer that was proposed to tonight by her boyfriend?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dumb.
Okay. But here, people are like roasting him or whatever. I've made the point of, would I choose to do it that way? I would not. But I've made the point like a bazillion times. If the person wants to marry you, they will be happy however you propose to them.
Disagree.
She seemed fucking thrilled. We can make jokes, but I just want to congratulate the guy.
Oh yeah, you congratulate him and also
You know,
make jokes. I think
yeah.
it can be both.
I just
and I
just
don't
be
agree
mean
that
to him.
I don't. Alyssa wants to marry me and has wanted to marry me.
Yeah.
And if I did that, or anything like that, or proposed at her work,
But you wouldn't. And she,
I know, but
you see what I'm saying? Like,
but it's not. I think that's a little. There's some self-selection there,
yeah.
but I don't think it's across the board. Like I could, or dumber people than me could have just made a poor judgment in a situation. That's a good point.
Yeah. In the chat, Rob says the Sixers were down 20 when he proposed. That guy's a hero.
There you go. All right, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, I think that you can marry someone you want to marry and also be like, they did a really bad job with the proposal, either being lazy or not special,
Well, that
or
didn't
like
seem lazy.
really poorly timed. No, not this wasn't lazy. No, it was just a bad idea.
A friend of mine proposed at a concert in front of the stage. Who was the band? Was it the Black Keys? Sludge, congratulations, Brian, who does more. Brian Haddad, who used to work for WIP, proposed. I thought it was a Black Keys concert. Like as he was doing a stage announcement, he brought his girlfriend up there and did it in front of the Black Keys concert. I wouldn't do that either, but she seemed fucking thrilled. They're happy. I don't know.
There you go.
Just everybody dunking on him. I felt bad. Make him, she looked happy. She looked fucking happy. Give the guy a break. Maybe she always wanted to be proposed to at a fucking Sixers game.
Oh, look, I don't think we should fucking kick this guy out of the city or try to make the marriage null and void upcoming. But you could still be like, come on, man.
Whatever.
Pretty good. Glad Franklin was there. Glad Franklin got there. Franklin's been
Yeah.
taking a lot of lumps from Sixers Adam, so it's
Yeah.
about time Franklin got some good press.
I'm actually team. In the Sixers Adam versus Franklin thing. I'm actually team Franklin. Sixers Adam, I want to see you go make a half court shot, motherfucker.
He should be allowed to. He should be permitted to try.
Actually, this is my message to the Sixers, Sixers brass, Sixers promotions. I want to see Adam versus Franklin half court shot shootout at the next Sixers game.
Great. Or even Adam gets to do it from like the 3-point line over his head.
Sure.
Because he's younger, still building up his muscle mass. Franklin has presumably been around for many years of dog years or regular years.
Yeah.
Adam should get a chance to get, even the playing field a little bit.
Oh my God, we got to end this. I'm in such, it's so hot. So it's funny. I don't even think we
didn't talk about it. Spike's been in a Santa costume the whole time.
Yeah, with the full beard, full Santa costume.
Well, beard should be over the nose.
Over the nose?
Yeah, it should be at least a little bit. Yeah, like that. You're not seeing Santa's full nose. You're not seeing nostril.
Yeah,
from
but
Santa regularly.
beards don't go over noses. Have you ever seen
I
somebody
guess
have
that's
a
true.
beard?
I guess that's true. All right, I see how that being true a little bit, but you'd have to at least have the mustache where like it's like coming up. Yeah,
It wasn't
All right.
a super expensive Santa costume. I guess what I'm saying.
Maybe leave it to the pros.
We will talk.
Maybe too many Santa costumes is why you're hucking up too much blood.
We'll talk to you next week. We have a surprise coming next week that we're pretty excited about.
Surprise next week. Hopefully, feeling
9
the glow
games.
off
Yep.
of 2 more wins against the Knicks on Christmas and then the Wizards right after that.
Yeah,
Let's do it, man. Let's start Christmas off right.
let's do it. All right, we'll talk to you next time. Merry Christmas from the Ricky. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah, you know, lick face.